Right now on this streaming special, Dollars and Cents, Holiday Spending Unwrapped. Holiday sales this year could top $1 trillion. I sit down with an expert to show you how to stretch your budget and save this holiday season.
We tend to spend more because it's the holidays, because of the excitement. We're looking to get the deals, but we might not have the income to support it.
Plus, more shoppers now turning to secondhand finds for gift giving. While prices for holiday travel are down, there's even more ways to save on your next flight. And the hottest toys of 2025. Why some gifts could cost you more this year. Hello, thanks so much for joining us on this ABC10 Plus Dollars and Cents streaming special. I'm Laura Painter. The holiday season is in full swing. Despite just going through the longest government shutdown in U.S. history, holiday spending this season is expected to reach another milestone. The National Retail Federation predicts holiday sales will reach $1 trillion. The government shutdown could also make holiday spending uneven across different income brackets. The Federation says the holiday shopping season runs from November 1st to December 31st. Also, the National Retail Federation says consumers plan to spend, on average, nearly $900 per person. The NRF Annual Consumer Survey report projects more than $600 will go towards gifts for family and friends. Nearly $300 will be used on food, decorations, and other seasonal items. This year's spending amount is the second highest in the survey's history. Last year, total spending reached $976 billion. In addition, the NRF projects 55% of people will shop online. But despite a projected rise in spending, experts say shoppers are more price sensitive and will be searching for deals. Reporter Michael Yoshida has a closer look at what's driving holiday spending habits this year.
But recent economic data reveals prices are heating up while the labor market is cooling down. A cloudy financial picture dampening shoppers' spirits.
Consumers have been feeling rather subdued about the economy. Their sentiment has been declining over the course of 2025, concurrently with the escalation of tariff rhetoric.
That downturn coming at a critical time for retailers.
Consumers are going to be heading into the holiday shopping season with a lot of caution.
Accounting firm PricewaterhouseCoopers forecasts American shoppers will pull back on their holiday spending this year, reversing a trend of year-over-year growth since 2020.
Our survey showed pullback in spend, 5% year-over-year pullback in holiday spend. It's really Gen Z that's driving the pullback. Gen Z intends to spend 23% less year-over-year.
A slowdown in seasonal spending, according to University of Michigan's Joanne Shu, could be good for people's pocketbooks in the short term, but may have ripple effects across the larger economy.
Consumer spending drives about 70% of aggregate GDP. If large numbers of consumers pull back their spending, that means the businesses that serve those consumers are not going to have so much strength in their revenues and their profits. It's going to weaken business conditions and could lead businesses to contract or even some to fail.
Meanwhile, experts say consumers may be feeling the impact tariffs are having on the supply chain. ABC's Rena Roy has the details.
As shoppers get their wish lists ready for the holiday season, retailers are feeling the effects of the Trump administration's tariffs.
With the tariffs, there's an upward pressure to increase prices or adjust prices if you're the retailer. And so how that's impacting the consumer, obviously, there are certain items that are going to be more expensive than they have been historically.
One thing to look out for this year is inventory.
We expect inventory to be on the shelves this holiday season. You might not see as broad of a variation of certain items. Retailers have been very methodical on which inventory to put on the shelves, given the tariff pressures, and just been very kind of thoughtful about what their product offering is.
Expect fewer deals this holiday season.
The retailers are not sitting on excess inventory like they have in the past, where they were really focused on trying to promote and sell as much as possible.
Some of the most impacted items this holiday season are apparel, footwear, tech, and even toys. Prioritize your big-ticket items by pre-ordering or reserving ahead of time, and be flexible when shopping for certain brands, as availability may vary.
It's really important for the consumer to, shop, compare pricing, consider trading down. If it's a branded item, potentially looking at private label items, secondary items, such that it's re-commerce or secondhand has become more important.
Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
It's also the season when gift giving can take over our lives, but with many Americans still worried about rising costs, experts say resale or secondhand shopping is becoming a more popular way for finding value and meaning. The stigma around buying secondhand is starting to go away. Experts say another way you can save is by using reward credit cards that use cash back or points.
Because value is king with consumers, this is a great way for them to extend their dollar and get more for their money. Secondhand is also a way to sort of cut through the noise of the ordinary and find more unique items, items that tell a story, items that are more personal.
For your debit card, know your balance. Don't overdraft and rack up fees. For your credit card, even if you have a high limit, don't spend beyond your budget. With buy now, pay later options, experts say try not to use them for discretionary spending that can quickly add up. And a heads up, sending gifts and packages in the mail will soon cost a little more. The United States Postal Service is boosting its prices for the 2025 holiday season. Officials say these adjustments are needed to help deal with the extra handling costs that come during this busier time of year. Priority Mail Express, Priority Mail, Ground Advantage, and Parcel Select will all be affected. Holiday pricing expires January 18th. And take a look. Here are the U.S. Postal Service's holiday season mailing dates. For customers in the lower 48 states, cards and gifts should be sent by December 17th for Ground Advantage and First Class Mail. For Priority Mail, it's December 18th. For Priority Mail Express, it's December 20th. Target is ramping up next-day delivery options ahead of the busy holiday season. The chain expanded next-day deliveries for online orders to 35 U.S. metro areas. Target says the service is free for orders over $35. Target says it's now offering same-day deliveries to more than 80% of the U.S. population. Target says it plans on expanding delivery options even further into more than 20 additional metro areas next year. The retail giants also lowering prices on 3,000 items in an effort to help family budgets this holiday season. Prices on certain food, beverage, and essential items at Target will be reduced. They include price drops on hickory smoked bone-in hams, apples, pie crust, cold medicine, and more. The company said its price reductions will continue through December. Joining me now is Sacramento-based financial coach and advisor Maureen Paley. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you, Laura.
Always great having you, talking dollars and cents with our viewers. And this time we're talking about the holiday season. You know, this time of year, there's just so much temptation out there to spend, 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 right? We hear those jingle bells, cha-ching. We want to get the money out there. But how can we help manage expectations and keep our spending in check?
Yeah, so I think one way to do that is to really take a look at the income that you have for the month of December. For a lot of us, that income isn't going to be any different from any other month of the year. So November and December, we tend to spend more because it's the holidays, because of the excitement. We're looking to get the deals, but we might not have the income to support it. So make sure to take a look at all of the income that you've got coming your way in November and December, and then use that as the starting point for how much you want to spend for the holidays.
I see. And we know a lot of people like to travel this time of year. They have events that they want to go to, family they want to see. What are some ways that folks can help keep costs down, whether they're flying or driving and having guests over?
So if you're flying, you might want to book as early as possible, right? You want to try and get those deals on the airlines. Maybe you're someone who's already racked up points, and maybe this is the time to cash those in for a flight to go home and see family. If you're driving, you want to make sure that you are looking for the cheapest gas that you can get, essentially, and adding up the things that are going to come your way. Maybe you have to pay tolls, maybe you have to pay parking, things like that.
Point.
So some forethought and some planning can really help mitigate a lot of those costs.
Do you find that this year in particular, this holiday season, you're seeing more challenges from your clients? And what are those specific financial challenges?
Absolutely. So we're still in an inflationary environment. So a lot of us have already been, for the past several months, dealing with higher cost of groceries at the grocery store. And basically, when you get into the holiday months, you've already been kind of pinching a little bit here and there. You get to the holidays, that's usually when you maybe open up your pocketbook and splurge a little bit on the family meal that you want to have with your family and friends. And those items, those components of the family meal will be more expensive this year.
What are the top 3 things you advise for people as they're trying to make their shopping list, grocery lists, all the things that we love for the holidays to keep their costs in check so they don't get the sticker shock for next year? What are the top 3 things you would recommend?
Absolutely. Plan ahead as much as you can. Sometimes we can't plan for everything, but plan ahead on the types of expenses that you're going to have in front of you. So what is the meal that you want to prepare? Where will you purchase the items for that meal? Can you share the expense with a family member or a friend and bring people together? Maybe this year you can have a potluck instead of a meal that you're preparing solely yourself. So you get to spread the cost, and you get to also spread the generosity to others.
I love that. I'm adding that to my list.
Yes.
Those top 3 things. I appreciate that. Now, a lot of folks, and we talked about this in the past, folks have a hard time saving during the holiday season and meeting their financial goals that they've been keeping for the rest of the year. They're getting into debt. November and December, sometimes even as early as October and September, getting ready for the holiday season. What can they do to prepare now for when those credit card bills and other bills start coming post-holiday, like in January and February?
I would suggest writing down the dates that those bills are going to come due. So because there's so much excitement and so much going on usually during November and December, during those holiday months, by the time we wake up in January, we may have forgotten about the bill coming due at some point in the month of January. So do that now. Actually put it on your calendar or set a reminder in your phone that will remind you of what you need to pay and how much of it you want to pay, so that you keep those interest costs down and you don't have the debt headache that comes in January and February.
That is good to know. In the last minute or so that we have here, what are some of the top financial mistakes you see people making, and what can we do to avoid them?
I would say spending beyond means, relying a little bit too much on credit. And in this environment, with inflation being what it is, folks are already relying on credit. So not that credit is bad in any way, but when we over-rely on it and we don't make a plan to pay down those debts in the future, that's where it can really snag us and get us in trouble. So I would suggest to a client, try not to over-rely on credit, try to use as much cash as you can, and then if you haven't set up a holiday savings fund for 2025 holiday, for next year, start a savings fund so you can save all throughout the year for holiday 2026.
Oh, all wonderful advice. Always great to have you here for Dollars and Cents. A financial coach and advisor, Maureen Paley. Thank you so much for being here. We're back after this. Now to holiday travel. The next big trip on most people's radar will be taken within the next few weeks. Despite the impact of inflation on the economy, there are still plenty of deals for travelers. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio has the details.
The good news for travelers, airfare, hotel rooms, and rental cars are cheaper this year than they were last year.
We are seeing fewer international travelers come into the U.S. So if you're a domestic traveler and you're staying within the U.S., you aren't competing with those international travelers for space to book.
To save money, try mixing and matching different airlines.
Especially when you're traveling domestically, it is very rare that a round trip will be cheaper than just doing 2 one-ways. So what NerdWallet recommends is for that domestic travel, book a flight one way, get the best deal, get the best time for you, and then going back home, you do another fresh search, another one-way flight, and you'll typically find you have more options that way because you're not hooked into that same airline.
Take advantage of the 24-hour rule so you don't miss out on a great deal.
There is a rule in the US when you see an airfare, even if it's an airfare that is non-refundable, you can't cancel it, you can actually cancel it within 24 hours of booking. If you see an excellent airfare, just book it, and then you have 24 hours to assess with your family, assess the rest of your budget if you're actually going to do that trip.
And make the most of your credit card reward points.
What NerdWallet is seeing, especially this year, is all sorts of devaluations happening. Points and miles do not get more valuable. By and large, as the years go by, they get less valuable. So if you are sitting on a stash of points and miles, that's a really, really good time to actually use them is the end of the year.
Experts say the cheapest day to fly is Christmas Eve. Holiday travel set records last year, and this year is expected to top 2024 levels. The U.S. Travel Association says the industry could use that boost, with $1 billion in consumer spending lost each week since the government shutdown started October 1st. Still to come, holiday jobs are up for grabs, but landing one may be tougher this year. Why competition's rising and hiring is slowing down. Plus, a major shakeup may be coming to Amazon's workforce. The plans that could change how millions of packages and jobs are handled in the future. Interest in seasonal work is surging this year, but the number of holiday job openings likely won't meet that demand. Reporter Karen Kafa has a look at what job hunters need to know and what it says about the economy as a whole.
Holiday job openings are out there, but so is stiff competition.
The competition is going to be much stiffer this year than it was a couple of years ago, because we have seen that slowdown in the number of job postings paired with an increase in the competition of more and more people.
Corey Staley, senior economist for Indeed Hiring Lab, says their data finds job searches surging ahead of the holiday season while employers pull back.
Temporary jobs in some ways are different than what we see in full-time and other jobs in the economy, but in other ways they're also very much the same, right? So we're seeing a lot of the broader trends in the labor market being reflected in this year's holiday hiring.
Outplacement firm Challenger Gray and Christmas forecasts seasonal retail hiring to fall to its lowest point since 2009 during the Great Recession. Nancy Vandenhouten, lead economist for Oxford Economics, says those employers may be taking cues from consumers.
A lot of consumers are feeling, pressured by high costs for a variety of things, whether it's things where tariffs have been applied or just everyday essentials, food, housing, electricity. So retailers seem to be taking a cautious approach.
But Staley says Indeed's real-time postings show retail isn't the only place to look for a holiday job.
We see some leisure and hospitality, but we also start seeing some interesting cases where even like accounting jobs start to pick up this time of year.
Some of the top seasonal postings are for beauty advisors, delivery drivers, food service workers, and truck drivers.
Amazon has announced pay increases for its fulfillment and transportation employees. The online retail giant is the country's second largest private sector employer. Amazon says it's increasing average pay to more than $23 an hour when benefits are included. They say the average total compensation is now more than $30 an hour. Employees also get free Prime membership, prepaid tuition programs, a 401k with company match, and other perks. Amazon says it's a $1 billion investment to improve pay and lower the cost of health care for its employees. It comes after Amazon workers at multiple facilities across the U.S. went on strike last year during the holiday shopping season. They demanded higher wages, better benefits, and improved working conditions. This also comes as the online retail giant is reportedly planning to replace 600,000 American jobs with robots. The company is now trying to explain. ABC's Maggie Ruley has the details.
Concerns that Amazon, the second largest private employer in the country, is planning one of the biggest workplace transformations in modern history.
In a fulfillment center, the Cardinal robot will pack packages into carts.
The New York Times, citing leaked documents, reports Amazon expects sales to double by 2033, growth that would normally require 600,000 more workers. But the company is reportedly looking to fill those jobs with robots and automate 75% of its operations.
We could do this with our robot. We could do this with our technology. That's what we're going to do.
In the near future, Amazon reportedly estimates automation could help it save more than $12 billion and shave about 30 cents off each item it ships. In a statement, Amazon said the leaked documents reflect the perspective of just one team and don't represent our overall hiring strategy, adding that the company is actively hiring and plans to fill 250,000 positions for the holiday season.
One of the things that we've been proud of over our 10-year history is the ability to develop robots that work well alongside people.
It comes amid growing fears of technology replacing human workers. The so-called godfather of artificial intelligence has been sounding the alarm.
If I worked in a call centre, I'd be terrified. If I was someone like a legal assistant, a paralegal, they're not going to be needed for very long. For mundane intellectual labour, AI is just going to replace everybody.
Maggie Bruley, ABC News, New York.
On the flip side, Amazon says it's busy training human workers for higher paying jobs that will include working with robotics. Up next, if you're hunting for that perfect tree like in the movie Christmas Vacation, expect to pay more. What's driving up costs and making artificial trees harder to find? Now to a new warning this holiday season about how tariffs could affect the price and supply of Christmas trees. ABC's Sam Champion explains.
There it is. A new warning for those looking for the artificial version of that perfect Christmas vacation tree.
The Griswold family Christmas tree.
The CEO of the National Tree Company, one of the country's leading importers of artificial trees, wreaths, and garlands, says tariffs are causing real trouble in our Tinseltown.
We think that the Christmas industry this year will definitely be in short supply. The tariffs basically stopped production in China for about a month. Many companies tried to shift their production from China to other countries in a very short amount of time, and that definitely clogged up the supply chains.
The National Tree Company says they're bringing in about 25% less product than they typically do because of the strained supply chain. And they also say prices will be about 10% higher due to tariffs.
We've tried to absorb the cost increase across the supply chain. Unfortunately, we've had to pass some of these price increases along to consumers.
And it's not just the National Tree Company. 87% of artificial Christmas trees, ornaments, and holiday decorations came from China last year. So for the majority of companies, pivoting isn't easy.
Coming up, from tech gadgets to throwback favorites, we're breaking down the hottest toys of 2025. What's flying off shelves at retail giants. But get ready to pay more for those toys. Why new tariffs could be driving up the cost of everything from toys to decorations, and what local stores are doing to keep customers happy. Retail giants like Walmart and Target have already dropped their top toys lists. Walmart's featuring 50 standout gifts, while Target is highlighting building sets and action brands. Meanwhile, expert curators at the Toy Insider have unveiled their Hot 20 and STEM picks, tapping everything from interactive plush to hands-on creative kits as top contenders. So, what's hot? Take a look at some of these toys exclusive at Walmart. This Bluey 6V Imaginaire ride-on bumper car with the inflatable character. And parents, you may remember this one, an Easy Bake Oven. Also, the interactive Gabby's Dollhouse is popular and inspired by the Minecraft movie, the Minecraft Battle Mode Great Hog large action figure. And at Target, the hottest toys include a Razor 2-wheel kick scooter, this Miss Rachel Emotions learning doll stuffed animal, and a 3-in-1 Lego creator, a Target toy check lane. How about that? For the first time, Target says they will be hosting in-store toy demos every weekend from now until December 21st. They've also created a new Holiday Kids catalog to make toy shopping easy. And check this out. It could be the big ticket item on your child's wish list this year, the Nintendo Switch 2. The popular gaming console hit store shelves back in June, and right now you can find the Switch 2 Plus Mario Kart World Bundle for about $500, but keep in mind prices can fluctuate as the holiday season continues, and availability could be limited as demand picks up. Well, in case you didn't know, Toys R Us is trying for a comeback this holiday season. The nostalgic toy retailer opened more than 30 new stores across the U.S. 8 of those will be permanent flagship stores. More than 20 will be temporary seasonal shops. You may remember Toys R Us closed more than 700 stores after filing for bankruptcy back in 2017. It opened a flagship location in Minnesota's Mall of America in 2023, which remains open. You might be paying a heftier price for several of your gifts and treats this holiday season. That's because the amount of sweeping tariffs in place. Reporter Emma Norwood explains.
As families are gearing up for the holidays, price tags may be a bit steeper this year. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, toy prices rose 1.8% following President Donald Trump's tariff enforcement.
A number of factors that have kind of come into play where a lot of our toy prices and a lot of the products have really started to increase in price over the last year especially. And it's not just like one factor. Tariffs are a big thing that has really affected the pricing.
Hobbytown USA, a local toy store in Southeast Lincoln, sells everything from race cars to board games. The owner, Daniel Schmidt, tells me they have seen an increase in prices for different products, the biggest being wooden toys, Legos, and Barbies.
A lot of the wood prices have gone up, a lot of the metal prices have gone up, and that's affected normal traditional toys. So those are some of the big factors that have really made toy prices go up across the board. A lot of stuff has just gone up a little bit. It's not bad, but it's real. It's definitely happened.
But their biggest goal, keeping customers happy so they don't have to worry about the prices before the holidays.
I've really tried to do my best to time stuff so that I got them in before the price increase, or staged things where I could get things ahead of time and we weren't affected as much by it, and then I can pass on those savings to the customer.
New toys have been inducted into the Toy Hall of Fame. They are Battleship, Trivial Pursuit, and Slime. The Hall of Fame recognizes toys that have inspired creative play across generations. Battleship is a strategy game challenging players to strike an opponent's warships, while Trivial Pursuit tests players' knowledge in categories like geography and sports. And Slime's appeal is more about the squish than any sort of skill. And these games were voted for over countless other games like Connect 4, Cornhole, Star Wars lightsabers, and even Tickle Me Elmo. How about that? We'll be right back. Before we go, grab your skates. Sacramento's downtown ice rink is open for business. It's at Ali Yousefi Square on K Street. You can check it out all the way through January 19th. Admission is $15. And the Folsom ice rink's also open for the season. You can find it in the heart of historic Folsom. Skate sessions are 90 minutes and run daily through January 19th. Organizers recommend booking ahead on their website, folsomicerink.com, to secure your spot. Have a safe and fun holiday season. Thanks so much for joining us on the ABC10 Plus TV streaming app. I'm Laura Painter. See you next time, and happy holidays.